Hi there, how are you doing? I and my buddy Joe English are sending our regards, and today we would like to do some ACT English section test questions together. So without further ado, let's share the desktop. Okay. Um, our passage today is entitled Listening to a Different Language. Listening to a Different Language. Dog obedience training is an important undertaking when one acquires a new dog. So 16, when one acquires, no change seems like a good option. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. One's acquiring no, one who acquires no. So we leave it as it is if no change. Remember, a no change option is a very good option. If it fits in, then it is the correct answer. So the best answer for 16 is F. Moving on to 17. Well, let's read it. This is particularly important if the dog owner is a social person or plans to interact with other dogs and the owners. Okay, so it should be and their owners. Their, as in the possessive pronoun, their, be. So be, possessive pronoun. This is the correct answer for 17. Moving on to 18. Um, Well, however, is that obedience training was a form of one-way communication. It should be obedience training is a form of one-way communication, right? So it's like a definition for obedience training. So it should be obedience training is a form of one-way communication. So we should use the present tense here, is. So H is the best answer. Moving on to 19, all right, carefully watching a dog movements and facial expressions. It should be a dogs, as in D, dog apostrophe S, like the possessive S for singular. So here it should be dogs movements and facial expressions. So the best answer is D for 19 is D, right? Moving on to 20. Okay. Yeah, when the dog is confused or waiting for a signal from its owner. So in this case, yeah, no change is a good answer. When the dog is confused, that is an adjective, or waiting for blah blah blah. So it makes perfect sense. We cannot say when the dog is confusing and waiting. All right, so confused, the ed adjective is used. The ed or the past participle is used as an adjective sometimes. Confusing, yes, it is. The ing is used as an adjective as well, the present participle, but does not fit in this context. The one that fits is the past participle. So confused, F, no change is the best answer. Moving on to 21. Okay, let's read it. All right, waiting for a signal from its owner. When the dog wants to play, it might pull the lips back slightly. It might pull its lips. It's as in the possessive its. So B is the best answer, right? So 21B is the best answer. It might pull its lips back. Okay, moving on to 22. 22 has a prompt, so we need to read the prompt first before we attempt the answer. The author, 22, the author is considering deleting the previous sentence. If the sentence were deleted, the essay would primarily lose what? So let's read the sentence. It says, a relaxed dog might let its tongue loll out of its mouth, creating a look of contentment on its face, right? So if we were to delete this sentence, what would the essay primarily lose? An example of how a dog communicates with its owner? Yeah, that's a good answer. Let's just have read through the other answers. Support for the author's suggestions regarding the importance of obedience, no. An irrelevant detail, no. An important fact about dog anatomy, no. So F is the best answer, right? Okay. Moving on to 23, right? 23. Other forms of body language can also indicate which emotion a dog is experiencing. No change sounds like a good answer because it makes perfect sense. Can do the indicating of, no. Shall be indicative of, can also indicate is better than shall be indicative of. It's simpler and shorter. Remember, on the ACT, if you have three expressions having the same meaning and one is shorter, then go for the shorter or the simpler. Simplicity, being short, is better, right? So no change here is the best answer because all the options might mean more or less the same. However, no change, A is the best because it's shorter to the point, and that's why it is preferred. Okay, 23, the best answer is A. How about 24? Let's read the prompt first. Given that all the following are true, which one, if added here, would provide the most effective support for the statements made in the preceding sentence? Let, let's read the preceding sentence first. For example, if its ears are raised, it is probably absorbing the sounds around it. She's talking about the dog shifting its ears back flat against its head demonstrates submission or fear, right? So 24 here. Oh, okay, so this is a sentence that preceded it. Um, Support for the statement made in the preceding sentence. Yeah, which one, if added, would provide the most effective support? Dogs are often, yeah, the dog's owner should immediately try to determine what the dog is responding to. No. Dogs are often fearful of unusual or unfamiliar situations and people. This might be the answer. Let's just read through the others. It's important to have a dog's hearing assessed. Many purebred dogs have their ears trimmed. No, G. G seems like the best answer here, and it it fits in with the paragraph and the preceding sentence, right? So 24G. Let's go to 25. Okay, let's read the prompt for 25. Given that all of the choices are true, which one would most effectively conclude this paragraph? The one that concludes the paragraph most effectively. Would we say body language and even vocalizations are good indicators of a dog's emotions? Yeah, that sounds like a good uh, way to end this sentence. No change. Let's see the other one. Smaller dogs generally have a higher pitched bark, blah, blah, blah. No. C, a yip or whimper indicates some type of pain or discomfort. No. D, part of obedience training is teaching a dog when it is appropriate to bark. No. So the best way to conclude is the same sentence as it is. So no change. A is the best answer. Okay, let's move on to 26. 26 here. Let's read the beginning. While most dogs are capable of learning a variety of human words and physical signals, training, semicolon, training a dog becomes much easier when the owner tries to discern its unique communication signals. All right, so this should be just a comma, not a semicolon, because we don't want to start a new sentence here, right? It's just one sentence. While blah blah blah, training is blah blah blah. So it's actually two sentences. joined together by a subordinating conjunction while, so we should use a comma, not a semicolon. Remember, semicolon is a boundary for a sentence, so it separates two complete sentences or two ICs, independent clause, as we call them. However, if we use a subordinating conjunction like while, like when, like after, before, etc., we should use a comma after the first sentence, which is the subordinate clause, and the other one would be the main clause. So the best answer here is G, signals, comma, training, right? G, 26G. Moving on to 27. All right, 27. Okay, we have a prompt. So let's read the prompt first. Which of the following sentence in this paragraph is least relevant? Remember, he's asking for the least relevant. So reading the prompt is very important. Okay. That type of question, you should leave it to the end because it requires you to read and then to decide which one is least relevant, etc. Is that so to the main focus of the essay and therefore should be deleted? So is it sentence 3 or 4 or 5 or 6? Let's read them. 3, for example, when teaching a dog to come, the owner might find it more effective to crouch down the owner's back, blah, blah, blah. This is relevant because he's talking about obedience training. And so to teach your dog how to come is relevant here. How about number 4, sentence 4? The dog will interpret this behavior in a more positive light than if the owner leans forward and yells at it to come. Yeah, also relevant. 5, to a dog, a crouching position is more welcoming than a forward lean, which a dog naturally finds threatening. Yeah, also relevant. How about number 6? Dog owners should always have small treats on hand to reward their dog when it obeys a command. This is the least relevant. It's not the core of obedience training, so it could be deleted. So the best answer here is D, right? 27D. How about 28? Yeah, the bottom line, comma, is we don't separate the subject from the verb. Remember, this is very important. We should not use a subject and then comma and then a verb. We should use subject and then a verb directly without a comma. So the best answer is G. Line is directly, not line, comma, is. So 28, the best answer is G. Why? Because we should not separate the subject and the verb using a comma in one IC, independent clause. Okay, 29. Let's read 29. Is a great deal more involved in communicating with a canine than just teaching it to come. Yeah, that makes sense. Involved in communicating with a canine. So yeah, no change is a good choice. Let's just read the other ones. By communication with, to communicating with communication in. So the best answer is the way it is, no change for 29. So A is the best answer. Okay, how about the last question in that paragraph or passage, sorry, in that passage. Let's read it. To attain a strong two-way relationship, it is best with remembering the importance of nonverbal communication. We don't say it is best with remembering. We usually say it is best to remember. So the best answer is J. It is best to remember, right? Not best with remembering or best remembering. It is best to remember. So for 30, the best answer is J. Remember, no change is a good option. So read it first and consider if it is correct, then use it. Questions that require you to decide if this order is logical or if we need to change the order. This requires you to read carefully and decide. And so leave this kind of questions to the end. Usually on the ACT or SAT, the shorter answer is better, but if it is the correct answer. Some students are just attracted to choosing the shortest answer no matter what, which is not a good way to answer, because in some of the questions you might have a little bit longer answer which is correct and the shorter one is incorrect. So if the answers more or less are the same, then go for the shortest answer. But if the shortest answer is wrong, then you have to decide what is the correct answer, right? Good luck to all of you, and I will see you in the next one.